Hey friends, it's varosimzz and I'm back with another video. If you've been here before, hey girl, hey. If you've never been here before, what to do, Jada Boo? And so today we're doing something a little bit different than like a normal like mod recommendations video. I feel like, I don't want to say they're repetitive after a while, but it's like I don't want to recommend you the same mods that other people have recommended like 11 times. So I'd rather do like a more in-depth mod overview. So we are going to do a mod crash course. Now, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this as like a series, but we'll see. As of right now, we are doing a mod overview of MC Command Center, okay? And the reason why I picked this mod first is because this mod can do so many things. I feel like it's underutilized. It's very amazing. It can do a lot. It can also probably limit the amount of mods that you already have in your game when you could just use this mod to do what you wanted to do, you know? So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you need to know about MC Command Center, and we're doing this little mod overview with my Sim 8. I love her down. If you don't know 8, you should go watch my LP, my Tied Taste LP. Love her down. But basically, the important thing to remember about MC Command Center is it's not just the settings that are on your sim. So basically, with MC Command Center, there's like this little icon, whatever you want to call it, pod menu selection option. And there's also one on your actual computer, like the sim computer. There's one there as well. So I'll show you guys that one. But yeah, these two have two different like functions. What am I doing? Yeah, these two have two different functions. So basically your computer version is like your overall world version of MC Command Center. This is just like a quick crash course into it. There are different modules in MC Command Center, so you don't have to download all the modules, but different modules do different things. So that's kind of like what you need to remember. And so we're gonna get into like MCCC settings, however many C's it is, first. And I'm gonna go in order of module. So it's like some modules I'm probably gonna skip because there's not much to say, but if you're like, I don't know what the fuck MC Tuner is, then skip to the MC Tuner section, you know, that kind of thing. So let's go over it. And so I have my settings already together. So we're just going to go into like the average MCCC settings. I probably said too many C's. I don't care. And then we have like age settings, autosave, gameplay, money, notification, relationship. So autosave, I actually appreciate because like you can autosave by name, slot number, all these things, and then you can also have an interval amount, and that basically means how often your game will autosave. I do not use this autosave, okay? I don't really use autosaves at all, but basically I do like this autosave because it kind of like, it's duplicitous to The Sims releasing their new autosave, but regardless, you can also stop human aging. It's like some of the settings that are in the Sims game infrastructure are also in MC Command Center, which I appreciate. I like it because then you can kind of change some things while keeping them same. So for instance, you can set different age span durations for like humans, cats, dogs, and then you can go by short, normal, and long lifespan. So like say you are a person that plays with aging on. I don't play with aging on simply because I like deciding when things are going to happen. Point blank period. Okay? But if you say you use long lifespan, and then basically you can kind of go into how long each of these lifespans are. So basically you can't set it to 0 because the default 0 will set it to EA's like default, which is 4, as the instructions imply. But if you put in 1, for example, that's how long the age span will be. Like it will be 1 sim day, and then you won't have to deal with an infant anymore. So that's kind of like how it all works, and then you can just change it up depending on which lifespan you work with. So this is just like general MC Command. Gameplay settings is probably where a lot of us already are familiar with MC Command Center. So do I need to go in depth into this? No, but I will. Okay. So basically there's a lot of settings in here. Personally, I go in life settings, and then whether or not I allow random deaths, I do not. So that Sims don't die on us a lot. And that's not like all sim deaths. I think it's like if you mark a sim for death. this could be in the instructions and I didn't read over it, but yeah. Also, I adjusted the sim difficulty. I'm actually gonna put this up while we're talking about it because I kind of just like to make it harder for my sims to gain difficulty. Also, why am I saying gain difficulty? Gain fame. I just don't want it to go as fast and as quickly as it normally does. I recommend, please, please, please test the settings before you just go with it, okay? Like for game time speed, for example. This can slow down your game or this can speed up your game depending on which way, okay? And I was not reading and I put my thing on like lower thinking that would slow down my game when in fact the higher you go makes your game go slower as the instructions imply. I feel like a lot of us are guilty of not reading things when we're playing a game. And I mean, I don't fault you guys for that because I do that all the time. That's why we're having this series or this video. But yeah, so basically game time speed, I use this. I set mine to 38. Keep in mind, if you update your game time speed, everything else will go slower. Okay? And that might be common sense. But for example, if you have lot 51's like weather changer or you have a weather or you put the little weather changer machine down, it's going to take longer for the weather to change because your game time speed is slower. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. So keep that in mind if you do change your game time speed and how much you change your game time speed to, because some things are just gonna go slow. Okay, and there's clearly a lot of room for error because there's like 1 or 1000. I don't know what 1000 looks like. I don't really want to know, to be honest with you. Also, when you're updating settings on your computer, you have to restart your game for them to take effect. As you can see in this little pop-up. So yeah, I'm not going to go into all of my settings. I'm just going to tell you guys what these do. So maximum household size, that just changes how many people are in your household. Allowable. However, this does not mean that when you try to like swap people, like say you want to change your household and swap people around, if you have too many people in the original household, it will not save because you're kind of like going against EA rules. So keep that in mind. There is a cheat to do it, but like just keep that in mind periodically. Motive decay, I feel like this one is self-explanatory, but motive decay also self-explanatory. It just changes how long it takes for motives to like go away. And then I also have my neighborhood action plans. These are like just which ones you don't want them to do. And I have mine as we wear bags, and I also have mine as rough housing and then power conservation because I hate the rewear bags. I hate it so much. Hate it. Okay, and then we have like skill settings, which is basically just like which skills do you not want them to gain, how hard is it to gain these skills, and then this is just basically saying like these are the skills that should be hard to gain, these are the skills that should not be hard to gain, and you can just kind of go through and check. And then you can also just freeze the progression entirely. So that's, and then use random aging, teleport sim, blah, 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 blah. So that's just regular gameplay settings. And then you have muddy settings, which is kind of like the same situation of like, how hard is it? Do they auto pay their bills? Can kids pay bills? I swear I have this allowed. Also, do not delete this. Please remember this. If you want your settings to save every single time that you update MC Command Center, do not delete the settings file. Do not delete that when you're updating your MCC mod, because that is what keeps it going and like saves it, whether or not you're on like MC1 versus MC 1.2. Okay. And then this is like apartment bill percent. Say you feel like your apartment bills are too high, lower that John, lower it down. Okay. And now they don't have to pay that amount on their apartment bills. And then also change bills percent is essentially the same thing, but for houses and other stuff and utilities and things like that. I have SMB bills, so I kind of don't really need it, but yeah. And then you can obviously have child support, inheritance, who gets the inheritance first, paying child support, all those things. Who pays child support, who doesn't. Cool. And then you can also have notifications. So this part is kind of like what I mean by you can limit the amount of mods that you can download because of MC Command Center. And so basically for console command settings, you can kind of set some of these things for like permanent. So for example, enable full edit cast. So if you have this enabled, every single time you go into cast, like here, when enabled, using modify and cast will provide full edit mode. So basically that just means like when you go, let's exit out of this, hold on. So say like I'm playing my game, as you know, when you have Sims and you don't have like full edit cast always by Teamx, basically when you go into your game and you try to edit them, it doesn't always let you edit their traits. So when you go to modify household and cast, now it will let you like edit their body type, edit their traits, those type of things, when it normally wouldn't let you. So that's kind of like that. I need to go faster because I feel like I'm talking a lot and I want to be helpful. So yeah. But yeah, so MCCC settings. So like that's one of the things that I mean is like you might not have to download always cast mode or whatever from TeamX if you have this enabled. If you want to limit how many mods you have in your game. If you don't care and you got storage like that, I mean disregard, girl. You know what I'm saying? Disregard. But also free build enabled does the same thing. Move objects enabled does the same thing. This also happens with tools, so it's like whether or not you enable, disable, up to you. Hold on one second. Let me update my settings. And then another cool thing is headline effects. So with this is basically saying that like when you load into your game, your little sim plumb bob thingy will be enabled or disabled. I have a mod for this. But it still has the plumb bob show up for my occult sims. So sometimes on my occult save, I disable it. So that's like something you could limit in your game. You might not need the headline effects mod because you can just disable it here and call it a day. I kind of like it because I mean, I already have the mod, so yeah. So yeah, please read the actual description of the mods, okay? And then another thing I like to use is the relationship settings. Once again, this is like base level MCC. I have allowed team parenting because I like a little messy of a game. You know what I'm saying? This is also friendship decay, and then relationships, romantic interest, all the things. I turn down the decay, and basically what this means is over time, your Sims will begin to lose relationship with people that they don't consistently hang out with all the time. I myself turn that off. I don't like it, so I turn it off. I think I have it low. Let me see. So 100% is the default, 0 is no decay. So I have mine set to 0, so that just means all of the relationships my Sims took time building are going to stay that way. I also have their difficulty is 0. I'm going to slow mine down to -10, just because I want it to be a little bit like harder to be best friends instantly. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes Sims build relationships super uber fast, and it just blows me sometimes. And then I'm gonna turn up my relationship difficulty to like negative. Let's go 16. I'm setting them low because I don't know how badly this will. Why am I saying badly? How this will impact my game in the long run. So I always like start off low and slow. Anyways. So let's go into the modules. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this is very straightforward, but one of my favorite features of MCCast is the copy and paste. So basically what this means is automatically when you click your sim, because like I said, there's a different menu when you click your sims versus clicking the computer for MC Command Center. So for MCCast, you can copy and paste body, face, physique, skin details, skin tone, traits, genetics, and then you can just paste them onto other people. We're not going to copy body parts, but basically it's really cool because you can like your whole sim's face can be copied and pasted onto other people. And then they're like their body, how their body looks, physique, and body appearance, those type of things. So I think it's pretty cool. You can also copy and paste in Dresser, which I love. And basically you can copy, like let's say copy outfit. Now she has the option to paste her outfit or paste her hair and then paste it to all of her outfits. But this can also like paste the outfit onto other women. Keep in mind this is gender specific, so I can't paste her outfit onto him because he's not set as a woman in my game, if that makes sense. So yeah, but it's a really cool feature because I like copy and pasting. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes my sim get messed up in like an update and now their body shape is messed up or whatever the case may be. Instead of like deleting the sim entirely because they're messed up or fixing it, I just copy and paste. And then another cool thing in MCCast settings, keep in mind I'm just going over like the things in each module that you might not know about. If I go into every single setting of every single module, we'll be here all day. We will be here all day. But one of the cool things is female fit and fat limits, and then male fit and fat. And this is basically just setting like how fit can women get, how fat can women get, how fit can men get, how fat can men get. And then you just set the values for like whatever you feel. I don't really need to change these, but you know, to each their own. Also, you can monitor physique, and that's just like making sure that they stay within those fat and fit limits based on how you defined those levels. And the other cool thing is the offspring setting. I like the offspring setting because the blue babies pisses me off every single time it happens in my game. So bypassing blue babies is basically saying that like when alien and human babies happen or whatever happens, the regular blue or whatever color that they come out will not happen, which I appreciate because I hate seeing them blue babies if I didn't set them blue. Okay. And then you can also decide how much of the parent's physical attributes are like attributed to offspring and their skin tones, all the things. Also, I think in MC pregnancy, there's settings for like how much of the parent's skills transfer over, but we'll get into MC pregnancy in a second. And now MC career. This is very straightforward, pretty simple. A lot of MC like commands can also be cheats. So it's like difficulty, kind of some of the things that we already went over. Children can quit school, neighborhood stories, whether they can like, you know, leave their jobs, do all these things. I don't have it set on. So yeah, and then homework. This affects both career and school, which is why there's like teens can quit school, all these things. University homework, how difficult is it? I think I just turned up. Oh, I lied to you. Okay. We're going to set this to -18. Because I just like my Sims to go slower with their homework. I like it when it's harder to grow quickly. But yeah, I just like it when it's a little bit harder to grow as quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like they do one batch of homework and that's it. But also if you ever get annoyed with how long your Sims are taking to do their homework, you can just go into the setting and fix it and just be like, homework takes X amount of time. Boom, it's over with. So yeah, that's MC career. Also, an MC dresser, you can change their career outfit, which I love. And I'm sorry you guys are going to be looking at this little menu, but that's what MC Command Center is. Okay, just take the time. Take the time, girly. So let's go into MC Cleaner. Honestly, MC Cleaner can be a very valuable tool if you want things to be cleaned up or you want things to be a certain type of way without having to do all the settings yourself. So for example, if you want to get rid of every single ghost that's in your game, bypass family ghosts. There are ghosts, goodbye. You gotta go. Okay? Also you can change if people's names are all different in their household and that annoys you, shouldn't annoy you. You can also update that as well. And then the cool part about MC Cleaner is, well, let's not use 8. Let's use Sean as an example because let's just say we want to get rid of all body hair. So let's just say I want him to be clean cut, no body hair, no nothing. Let's also just change him. Oh, MC Dresser also lets them instantly change their outfits, which I love because every single time I gotta press change outfit is gonna piss me off. It's gonna piss me off bad. So MC Cleaner, you can get rid of all their inventory. Love. Because say you're having a glitch, you're having an issue. Say, oh, I forgot to press sell everybody's the household inventory when we moved from one house to another, and now you got to go by hand and sell everything. No, none of that. Also, this is another setting that's in MC Dresser, and that's like outfit commands. And if you go into outfit commands, you can clean your outfits. Now, you might be wondering, why would I need to clean my outfits? What is that about? Why would I need that? Basically, say that your sim gets in the shower. I don't know if this is a popular issue, but say your sim gets in the shower and they have a skirt on when they're supposed to be naked. And you're like, why are you taking a shower with a skirt on? This is when you would use clean outfits, because basically this just cleans the bathing outfit and gets rid of that issue for you. Or you can save the outfit and then add it to a category. Cool. I'd say the most common thing I use is probably MC Dresser, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so to get like the more in-depth cleaner options, you have to like do detail logging and allow detail logging, okay? And this will make this happen on a schedule. This will happen on a schedule. Please remember that, okay? So if you do not want it to happen, do not put it on a schedule. But basically this allows a lot more options, so cleaner definitions, and then you can add a definition, and then you can like clean by age, clean by gender, clean by occult, you can clean all these things, right? And you can also set up how often the scheduled cleanup happens. 0% is obviously never, and then 100% is obviously like however often you want your cleanup to happen, okay? And so basically say I want to clean body hair. So let's do female only. And then let's do young adult. And then we can do, let's name this cleaner body hair. Female. Okay? And so this is how the definition will show up. And then it's young adult, female, all occults. And then this is both NPC and then played. And then I can clean by body type. And then we're going to go arm hair. And then we're going to go, let's see, leg hair. And then we're going to go, I think that's all the hair options. Back hair, front hair. I think that's all the hair options. Let me make sure. Yeah. So we have it cleaned for arm hair, leg hair, torso, front body hair, torso, back body hair. And then this is all outfit categories. So every single outfit, it's cleaned. And then we're going to set this to 50%. Actually, let's set this to 100%. So every sim that's like these qualifications will be cleaned on the schedule cleaning. Save that definition, and then the body hair will be cleaned every night so that your female sims will never grow body hair. You can always set this off, but it's just like sometimes annoying for me when I go to do a sim for like a machinima or whatever and they have body hair. It's just annoying. So you can set a cleaner so that they don't really have that issue. And you can set cleaner for a whole bunch of other things. You can delete the definition if you want to. So yeah. And then MC clubs, we're going to go in very, very briefly. Very straightforward. You can change how many club members are in your clubs, and then you can change how many clubs your sim can join. There's a maximum of 50. Okay? Usually in the game there's only 3 that you can join at one time. Very straightforward, point blank period. And then you can also like set it so it auto fills club members, and that's just like monitor club members. I don't have that on, so yeah. That's really all we need to know about MC clubs. Moving on. And now we move to my favorite category, MC Dresser. Okay, as you could see in the little previous, as you could see before, I usually use MC Dresser to just change their outfits really quick. You can use this when you're posing your Sims too. Say they're in the wrong outfits or you plan coordinated outfits instead of like taking them out of posing and putting them back into posing so that you can change their outfit. Now you can just like change their outfit at the touch of a button. Straightforward, easy, boom. Okay? Excluded, included, straightforward. Randomize, straightforward. Outfit commands, kind of, we already went over this when we were talking about cleaning. And then kind of like when we talked about definitions for cleaning, you can also do this on Dresser. So you can add a definition and then you can do the same thing with like body hair, cheek details, fingernails, toes, tattoos, etc. And so basically in this, like since we checked tattoos, we can set like, oh, if she has a baby, for example, I can set the percent that the baby will likely have this tattoo that she has right here. That's essentially what it does. Yeah. And then you can also set like when somebody is imported, how likely will these tattoos be transferred over, kind of thing. So yeah, I don't really have definitions for mine, but it's pretty cool in my opinion. So yeah, and then you can of course remove all the accessories or all the makeup, or you can randomize their outfits all together if you're just feeling froggy like that. I don't do that because if I took the time to make the outfit, you're gonna wear it. And then switching over to the computer version, you can of course, kind of like how I was talking about before, you can automatically clean bathing outfits. So yeah, you can automatically do that. You can also set how fast facial hair grows, if it grows for certain ages, all these things. So say if you want a middle schooler to gain facial hair, that's on you. That's on you. But yeah. And then you can do the same thing with makeup. You can kind of like copy and paste face paint. And then which ages will makeup start being like randomly assigned, I believe. Yeah, like which ones they can add makeup on. Say if you got a toddler that you putting in pageants, you can now allow toddlers to have makeup when they go to cast. Okay? Me personally, I ain't got that going in my game. So yeah. And then of course you can do makeup, genders, all the things. So that's up to you. Do what you want. Do what you want in your game. Okay? And then you can do the same thing here. You can kind of set like which outfit they change into after they go to work. You can set all these things, which I think is cool. So yeah. Now let's go into the next one. So the next setting is MC Occult. I don't really need to go into this very deeply, but basically this is just setting like different settings for each occult. So whether or not people get pregnant when they get abducted, setting the qualifications for all those things, how fast they age, alien disguises, pregnancy settings, all these things. It's basically just kind of letting you choose all the things you chose for humans. Okay? That's MC Occult. Very, very brief, very straightforward. Yeah. MC Population. Now, MC Population is another one of my favorites, okay? If you're going to get a module, you need MC Dresser. Well, obviously MC Command Center because you need that for everything else. MC Dresser, MC Population, MC Cast. You need those three. At the very least, you need those modules, okay? So, MC Population. There's moving settings, which is basically just like whether or not homeless people can move into lots, whether or not you allow that, all these different types of settings. It's very interesting, very in-depth. You should use it, see what's popping for you, okay? But the setting that I think is most interesting is the populating settings, okay? Whether or not you want babies in your game, you want infants in your game, you want toddlers, you want all these things, I set this joint to 0. Okay, say you don't want any babies. I don't want no babies in my game, so it's either baby or teen. Babies gotta go 0. Bye. I don't want no infants. No. Okay, and then we can do infants. Let's set that to 2. Who wants an infant? Not me. So this is just like whether or not like when they have to populate more Sims into your game. Say you deleted all the Sims that you had in your game that were not your own Sims. This essentially just figuring out which percentage will be infants, which percentage will be toddlers, which percent will be adults, which percent will be elders, all the things. That's basically what it is. So pretty straightforward. But if you want to import Sims from your gallery, okay, from your tray, from your gallery, you're gonna go import tray settings, okay? This is very important because if you don't want ugly little NPC Sims, ugly little townies, turn this setting on ASAP, okay? Turn it on, okay? And then you're gonna turn import tray Sims percent to 100. That means every single time they need to import a sim for like being a bartender or being a maid, because the game has to force sims to like fill those roles. Usually you would have like a townie sim or ugly NPC. Now you're going to have sims that are from your gallery into your game. This is what you need if you want to get rid of the ugly townies. If you don't care about the ugly townies, cool. Okay, but if you delete every single townie in your game, you're just going to get new ugly townies if you do not turn the setting on. Okay, perfect. So you're gonna set that to 100, and then you can further like kind of add some parameters, because basically sometimes if you have import tray settings to 100, you're gonna get duplicates if you have different names on your household. So say like I have all this to any save sims, because like if I saved a sim to my gallery, I thought they was cute, so they can get in my game. Whether or not I made them over or not in my sim style, I don't really care. It's better than the regular townies that they give you. So you can change it to only your sims, but if you don't have enough sims, ugly townies will emerge. Okay? And then you can also set it to only other sims, up to you, to your discretion. Okay? And then you're gonna want to do some configuring if you are gonna be irritated by duplicates. Basically, these tags are essentially just put these in the gallery description of each household, okay? Because these tags need to be in the description of the household to bypass or include them. So say only include tags, and then you're gonna I have this disabled, my bad. But yeah, you're gonna want to have to figure out the tags that you want to use. You're gonna have to figure out those tags before you do anything, okay? Don't press this if you don't have those tags defined. And then I usually put include clothing, because like if your sim is undressed in gallery for whatever reason, say it's a base sim, you're gonna want to include clothing if you have wicked whims or wonderful whims or whatever the case may be in your game, okay? And then you can do import sim name, and this is exactly what I mean. This will stop duplicates as long as you have it set to the right setting, okay? So if it is importing like 2 families that are in Lincoln, it's gonna skip certain sims if that name already exists in your game or has already been imported into your game, okay? So configure your settings however you need to configure your settings, but that's how you bring in new NPC townies that look how you want them to look, or you saved them because you thought they were cute, whatever the case may be. Okay, cool. And then you're gonna want to go here, import bypass appearance. And let's read this together. If enabled, sims imported from the tray to replace randomly generated sims will bypass automated changes to their appearance and physiques. So this means when your sim is pulled into the game, it will not change their appearance or their physique from how they are saved in your gallery. Okay? Great. So you can also do bar nights and all different types of stuff. I don't really use these, but to each their own. Also, you can set neighborhood story settings. I kind of like to play around with this because I don't really like neighborhood stories. And then you're going to go to other settings, and then you're going to go bypass sim culling. And this is basically saying like whenever your thing is set to like 80 sims and then there's more than 80 sims in your game, if you have this enabled, it will stop them from being deleted or culled, quote unquote. Okay? And then I also like to change the maximum sims in zone. This is essentially like, say you want 50,000 sims. Not really, because you see the maximum value is 200. So say you want 200 sims on one lot at a time. Your game is going to move slow. But say you want that, okay? you can have it because you're gonna set it to 200. I have mine set to 32. I kind of like 32. You know what I'm saying? It's a good portion for me. When usually the Sims like default value is 20, which means like say you reach 20 Sims in a lot, but you invited 24 people to your party. 4 people are not going to show up until 4 people leave. So you just kind of have to play with the setting. However much your game will allow, can hold, all those things is up to you. So you should figure out what that number is before your game starts to lag. Cool. Okay, and now we're going to move into MC Tuner. Well, I skipped one. Pregnancy. Yeah, not going to go into the super in-depth. Neighborhood Stories is just allowing or disallowing townie pregnancies, offspring. This is one of my best kind of favorite settings in MC pregnancy. So I usually put inherit trait type and then I do inherit random number, and that's, I guess I didn't set it for this save, but yeah, basically this just means that your offspring, say 8 has a baby, this just means that their baby will inherit a random number for traits, or they'll inherit nil or maximum. You know, I like random because I just feel like your parents can't fall too far from the tree. Apples can't fall too far from the tree. I don't know, but I just like it when my Sims, like, they can get aggy at their kids because their kids are stubborn because they're stubborn. Period. Maximum household children, just changing how many kids you can have in a household. Once again, if you try to move them, your game will be like, bitch, you gotta move all 98 of these kids, so we back to 8 slots. Okay? And then you can also set how many is the maximum number of personality traits the baby can inherit from their parents. I'm gonna set this to 4 because I just like it. And then yeah, and then this is also how many kids they can have during a pregnancy. I'm gonna put this as 4 just for some chaos. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't set it to 6 because being pregnant with 6 babies, ooh, girly pop, that's scary. And then you can set the gender, and then like what percent of numbers that they'll have for each. How many chances will they have for babies? Or what's the chance they'll have 1 baby? You'll swap these around. They do have to add up to 100. Just letting y'all know. Okay? So bring out your calculator and figure out that math if you need to. So yeah, that's kind of basically that. And then you can choose their surname and stuff like that. And if you want to be really, really, really messy, in partner sim selection, you can do allow a fair percentage, and this just changes the amount of likelihood that married sims will pop up as somebody else's child. As somebody else's parent. So let's actually do 10% because I like a little shock value, you know? So yeah. And basically when you select a sim for MC pregnancy, I also like that when you go into the pregnancy section, you can do pregnancy start. Say I want her to be pregnant. I don't want to go through all the trouble of having her woohoo 5 million times, whatever the case may be, to have a pregnancy. I just want to start the pregnancy, and I just want to choose who the dad is. I can do pregnancy start, and then I can pick who the father is. Let's say he's the dad, okay? And then you basically just check like, oh, I want her to have 1 girl child, and now she's pregnant with 1 baby, 1 female. Oh, why did they give her a male too? Yeah, well, that could happen. And then I can set her pregnancy phase. Say I want her to be 3rd trimester in labor, whatever case may be. I can skip her pregnancy phase, and now she's 3rd trimester pregnant. Boom, baby in the tummy. Bam. But I'm also going to delete this because I don't want her to be that pregnant. But for now, just for show and tell, you know? And then I can also change the pregnancy while she's pregnant. And then I can also like end the pregnancy and change her partner. So say I don't want Tyreek to be the father. Okay, you are not the father. Actually, Xavier is the father. Now Xavier is her partner for the father of the babies. Okay. I can also pause the pregnancy. So say you want her to be pregnant for like 50 million years, or you don't want her to progress in her pregnancy at all for whatever reason. Pause that pregnancy, love. All the things. We're gonna end this pregnancy though, because what the fuck? I would never do my girl like that ever. And now she's back to normal, as you can see. Great, we love that. And then I also forgot, basically for the other pregnancy setting within the MC pregnancy, on the computer, you can allow pregnancy aging, because it just gets on my nerves sometimes that they be the same age and everybody else is aging around them, which is why I turned aging off. So yeah, and then basically you can pause everyone's pregnancy if you want to. And then I have changed my pregnancy duration. So my pregnancy duration is 9 days. So it's like 3 days first trimester, 3 days second trimester, 3 days third trimester. You can set yours to 120 if that's what you decide. RIP her coochie, I guess. I don't know. But if you want it to be longer, it can be longer if you want to. Honestly, I'm going to change this to 12 because I'm feeling froggy. And then it also like updates you here. Like, oh, you updated the pregnancy duration. You gotta restart your game though before it takes effect. Okay. So yeah, I kind of like that part of MC pregnancy. Moving on. So we're gonna go MC Tuner. Okay. This can be helpful if you are sick and tired of your Sims doing things you don't want them to do. Okay, because that will piss me off in a quick second. All right, if you want them to stop being mean all the time, MC Tuner. You want them to stop being romantic to everybody they see, MC Tuner. You want to stop them from getting on that computer when you really want them to go take a bath and wash their nasty ass, MC Tuner. Okay. So basically you can change interaction behavior, and this is like how often they're going to do things and whether you allow it. I disallow emotional deaths for starters. Okay, I don't like when they die from hysterical laughter. That will be the quickest way to piss me off. Or them dying from emotional deaths. Why am I saying emotional deaths? Them dying from embarrassment. I hate a bitch that die from embarrassment. But yeah, so I turn that off. You can also allow like monster under the bed, multiple BFFs. I have this enabled. And then instant upgrades, whether kids can take care of babies. I think I have it set on, yeah. And then, you know, just like random things that you can turn on, turn off if you want to. This was a cool setting that I kind of like, and a friendly like stay the night. Like, oh, I want my bestie to stay the night. I have this turned on, okay? So that's kind of what it is. And then you can stop random flirting, and this is just like, they're just flirting because they're in a flirty mood. And they have no, like, they don't know each other. So why are they flirting? I have this disabled just because it's just like, you never know. It's fun. But if you want them to turn this off, turn that shit off. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And then change interaction autonomy. This is what I mean by if you want them to stop being mean, or you want them to stop autonomously proposing, or you want them to stop autonomously getting married, turn that Joan off. Okay? So this setting will basically allow people to get autonomously proposed to, autonomously, all these other things. Like, they don't have to call you and ask. It's just like they'll autonomously get married, or they'll autonomously get proposed, engaged to. And then basically for this is like, if they're autonomously being mean all the time, you can turn this off or turn it on. I have it enabled because like I want them to be able to do these things. But if you don't want them to do it, turn it off. Turn it off, girl. And then autonomy scan. I like autonomy scan. You do have to do this on the sim itself though. Okay. So let's kind of like walk through autonomy scan. Okay, so to enable autonomy scan, you basically click the sim. I do want to like let you guys know. Okay. Let me note this. Autonomy scan has to be redone if you go on a different lot or you're playing a different sim, like a different household sim. Okay, it doesn't automatically transfer over. You have to re-enable it. So I only really use it when I'm doing like scenes. so that they can stop doing things when I don't want them to do it, or when I'm like in a LP and I'm having them do a party and they keep on getting on the computer. Like, that's when I would use Autonomy scan. To each their own. So enable Autonomy scan, and basically now that it's enabled, I'm gonna go and click an object. Okay, let's say I don't want them making coffee, so I'm gonna do Autonomy scan, and then I'm gonna do grab a drink. I don't want them to grab a drink, so because it's not in brackets, it's no longer enabled. Okay, and then let's just say I don't want them to clean it either, and I don't want them to empty it, and I don't want them to make coffee. Yeah, so now these things are out of brackets, which means they cannot do them autonomously. Unless I tell them to go brew coffee, they're not going to do it autonomously. And then basically when you go back, say you don't want this command anymore, you're going to go to MC Command Center, and then you're going to go to Tuner, and you're going to disable Autonomy scan, okay? So all of those things will stop. And then you're also going to do Restore Autonomy. So now they can basically just click this, and then they'll do it now. Boom. But yeah, so I usually just do that if they're doing too much with that computer, or they just annoying me and pissing me off. Yeah, but I can see they can still do it. It's just like autonomously, no, hell no. So that's the benefit of Autonomy scan. And now we're going to get into one of my other favorite. I have a lot of favorite MCC settings, but MC Woohoo. Now, I like went through the whole process of like reading through MC Command Center and all the things when I previously had not done that. And so when I did that, I realized new things I did not know before. So here's some of the things I learned about MC Woohoo. So one of the things I already knew about it is that Woohoo actions in here, you can kind of decide if teens can have babies. Why am I saying have babies? If teens and adults can Woohoo. If that's your jam, you know, that's your jam. I wouldn't recommend, okay? But it's a setting that you can turn on. And then elders can have babies if you want them to. Same-sex try for baby. All these things. You can allow it or disallow try for baby in general. So, like, everybody can try for baby or nobody can try for baby. That's up to you. And then allow family is... I don't really want to talk about that one, so we're going to move past it. And then woohoo pregnancy, obviously you can decide, like, how risky is it for them to woohoo? Will they have babies if they woohoo? Use fertility, try for baby percent, and then, you know, pregnancy settings, basically. How often they'll be pregnant, all these things. And then you can also do different reactions. Reactions, you can do like bed sharing, which is basically whether or not Sims can sleep in the bed together. I like it, hence it being enabled. No jealousy, whether or not they get jealous. Privacy is basically they'll make people leave if they're about to, you know, get it in. And then Sleepy Woo is just like, if you want to be polite to the NPCs, and if your sim does the hunchy dory with them at between, I think 10 and 4 a.m., the NPC will automatically sleep over. That's basically what it is. And then my other thing is I love, and I previously did not know this, but there is a woo skill attached to MC Woohoo. I'm gonna enable it because I just kind of want to see what that's about. And then you can allow birth control. I personally don't allow birth control through MC Command Center because I have birth control enabled with RPO from Lumpino, so I don't really use it, but you can if you want to. Up to you. And then autonomous rest time is just basically how much time they sleep after they got it in. And then extreme woohoo, also did not know this existed. It's basically like your Sims will get it poppin' more often than they once did. Okay. I kind of don't really use this because I have Wicked Whims, and Wicked Whims kind of like, you know, you can set how often they get it in. But that's Wicked Whim. That's Wicked Whimming. You know, that's not woohoo. So if you want to set this higher, they do woohoo more often. They do woohoo more often, girl. Get your popcorn and sit down. But yeah, that's just like kind of cool. And then also you can enable nudity, I believe. You know, if that's your hot Cheetos, you know. And you can also kind of like decide who's nude, who's not, when are they nude. I don't know. That's up to you. Okay. So that's just basically MC Woohoo. So that was pretty cool. And that's just like all the modules together on the computer. But I do want to get into the sim specific settings. So let's go into that really, really quickly. Okay, so we're gonna demonstrate on Sean here because he needs some love. But basically for specific MC settings on Sims, there is modify household and cast, which is just basically going to cast for your Sims, and then there's sim commands. So this is pretty cool because you kind of like mark Sims for death if you don't want them to be doing too much. If a sim steal my drink, they're getting marked for death immediately. I don't care. But you can like set their age, set them younger, older, whatever the case may be. And then you can also maintain them. So this is pretty cool because you can like kill them instantly. Like I said, mark them for death. Swap their gender, set their gender preference, all these different types of things. You can kind of just do all these things without having to like go in a cast and do it yourself. And then the other settings are sim flags and relationships. Sim flags is just basically saying like, say you have aging turned on, you can set specific sims to like, don't age, don't do none of that. And then it's just like, you just have to pick the corresponding section. So like MC cast, freeze their appearance, freeze their physique, those kinds of things, so they won't get bigger, they won't get smaller, all these other things. Okay, that's kind of what flags are. And then you can do relationships. I used to love this section simply because I used to be able to do cousins, and cousins was my favorite thing to add a relationship for. But now, because of how Sims has like restructured family trees and all those things, like you can't do it in here anymore. But it was fun while it lasted. Very fun. But you can still do other things, okay? So you can add a relationship with anybody that's even not on the slot. If I sound a little different, I had to do some reconfiguring, guys. But we're going to do like add a relationship with someone lot. So, ooh, Marcella still ain't got her wig. Yeah, there's lore. I'm sorry. Just go back to my Taste LP and you'll know the lore. We're gonna add a relationship with Xavier, and we can set him as his father if we wanted to. And then we could add a relationship with 8 and then make 8 his daughter or his mother. Whatever the case may be, you can just add relationships. It used to be a little bit more in depth. Like you could add cousins, you could add brother-in-law, XYZ. It just doesn't work like that anymore because of like the way Sims configures things. So yeah, that's your in-depth MC Command Center overview. Let me know if there's any other mods that you guys want to like in-depth tutorial on. I'm happy to do one. I try to do more complex ones or more like layered ones, so I might do RPO or something like that next. But yeah, so let me know if you have any questions and leave your mod recs below. So yeah, bye.